Are you familiar with Warehouse by Mudita?
You guys have some of the best designers at some of the best rates. I am an accidental entrepreneur. I'm anyways a very, very impromptu person.
What's the process? Usha?
Siddharth Malhotra. I did talent for all those years. First time we did Cannes Film Festival was in 2018.
First association with someone who charges 7 figures. You're like an Indian rainmaker. What are your thoughts on influencers?
There is a full Gen Z creator. Each one is an agency.
Where do you think we're at right now?
Currently, I'm trying my hands on AI.
People are very smart.
There's so many platforms that are talking about Indian fashion.
The young woman, and if she were to come to you for advice, what would you tell her?
Women do support women.
Coffee or chai?
Always chai. I'm a chai person.
Someone in the office only came up to you that, ma'am, marketing is a product price.
4 Ps. Yeah.
So welcome back to That's So Mudita, where we unpack grit, grace and stories behind some of the most inspiring names in fashion and entrepreneurship and creative business. Today's guest is the force in the world of communication, someone who has redefined Indian luxury and lifestyle brands that show up in the field of fashion and in the world in general. Please welcome Pankhuri Harikrishnan, founder of Fetch Consulting, a PR and brand strategy agency trusted by the leading names across fashion, design, culture, and of course, even the film industry. She's a sharp thinker, bold storyteller, and a trailblazing women entrepreneur. From building a business to shaping narratives, we are diving in all. Pankhuri, it's genuinely awesome to have you here. Thank you so much. How have you been?
It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm good. It's fashion season right now, so we're all busy, but I'm glad we're getting the time to talk.
Was it hectic for you with the couture week?
Well, we were working with a few designers. We did a few shows, and now we're getting into season full time in terms of events and everything else.
It's season time?
Yes, it's season
Up until October or beyond?
No. I mean, things will start now in September and August, a little bit, September a lot, and then it'll go until the end of March.
Of course. So before we start talking about the podcast, are you familiar with Warehouse by Mudita?
Yes, we are. We do know that you guys have some of the best designers at some of the best rates, and you've been around for this long because you and I have been speaking on and off on multiple things.
Yeah.
So you've stayed the course and you've done the business. So yes, we've been aware and we've been seeing your journey. Yes.
And I'm surprised that this is the first time we're meeting.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Yeah. So, Pankhuri, you've seen the communication landscape evolve over how many years now?
So we started in 2017 towards the end. So about 8 years now.
Yeah, and your unique vision has, it made you identify. Let's say it's time to build Fetch. How did that come about?
I am an accidental entrepreneur. I've been working forever, and I've been doing, marketing, communication in the field of lifestyle, fashion, films, all of that for years. But I hadn't really thought of getting out on my own simply because, things were going a certain way. Even in my personal life, I was having my children, they were growing up, and it was all very comfortable. But I had a personal tragedy because of which I kind of stopped going to office. And after a few months, I said, I need to do something. I'm such a hyper individual. I need to do something with my time. And so what do I land up doing? I land up doing the one thing I know best, which is communication. So I started a very unique thing in my own way where I didn't want to be a pure PR agency. I had done talent at Elite Model Management for many years. So I knew talent really well. I knew PR, of course. I knew marketing and branding. So I put all of that together. And I put together like a digital first agency. This is back in 2017. We started with that, and then it just kind of kept evolving. We kept going with the flow, and also about this time is when you will see around us things were really changing in terms of Instagram had just started to happen, and I think our journey kind of went along with, and we kept molding ourselves to whatever is required next, and then of course there was COVID, and then influencers became a big thing, and we were one of the first few to kind of get that going. So I think a lot of it fell into place with what was happening in the market outside and how we were kind of thinking ahead. And eventually, I think today what we have is a a sort of a pioneer agency that did things before others thought of it or did it. And yeah, here we are in our 8th year running and doing
And some
new
great
things.
relationships at the end of it. Whoever I've spoken to, through the course of this research and everything, they all had such wonderful things to say about you, to say about your team and about your agency. So I think that's true wealth, no? That's what encourages us to get to office day after day.
So the thing is, when I started my own, which I had never thought of doing, I wanted to have a place which is, it's really different from what anybody else had and where I would have liked to work.
Yeah.
Right. So I kind of took all the good and bad of everything I had been through. And I said, and it just so happens that I landed up mostly only employing women, mostly. So, and what we know with women is we are doing so many things at work and at home and other things. And I always wanted it to be a flexible space. I truly believe that if someone's committed, if women are committed to doing something, they'll do it. I really don't need to have someone punch in at 10 o'clock and then just sit there. I mean, we don't have that in our office. But I have everyone working from everywhere, and this is before COVID. If I had someone who needed to work from home because something happened, it was never a question, because I think what we were able to do is put together a system in place where people were committed to doing things their own way. There were deadlines they were following, there were things they had to turn around. We just needed to make sure that the ecosystem supported it, and then came COVID and everybody was doing it, and we were like, but we have already been doing this for very long. So that's something that we've done, and which is why we've had people who've stayed with us from the beginning. Some of my core team has stayed with me from day one, and we're still, and they're there, and and they have grown as individuals and as professionals, and it's great to see that.
Of course. What were the first 6 months like of setting up Fetch?
I did realize I was kind of running like a full-fledged business till my first year actually went past, because like I said, I had some clients who were really, who had known me from before and said, why don't you do this for me? And someone else said, do this for me. It was all very different from each other. I started to do it.
Very organic.
Very organic. It wasn't like, now today I'll do PR or today I will put an event together. It wasn't, nothing was thought out. I'm anyways a very, very impromptu person. There was nothing that I put down as my plan for the year, nothing like that. I was just, like I said, I was also on a personal healing journey. So I wanted to take things at
work became your sanctuary?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just did things at my own pace with people I liked. Because I wanted to feel good when I was working.
Of course.
And so I could pick and choose what I wanted to do, which was amazing. And in the process, I picked a lot of great people to work with who supported me in turn. Like, there were people who had known me at various jobs, etc. And then by the end of 1 year, I had actually my team come in and said, but do you know all the different things we've done? Or, do you know what our turnover has been? Or do you know what we've done? And I'm like, no, we've just been going from one thing to the other. And I was blown. So I think, to be honest, and it might sound very dreamy, but we had a beautiful first year. I think I had God's hand on me. In terms of not really setting out with, oh, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do. It just went from one to the other, and it was beautiful. And then at the end of that year, I said, okay, listen, I think we have a business in place, and I think we need to put some structures in place. Yeah, that's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that in our first year. So the first time we did Cannes Film Festival was in 2018. It was literally just...
And you were the first ones?
Yeah. So,
before the madness...
before the madness began, because we had a client that used to be at Cannes for years, and I knew it. But from India, we had never done anything. And then I came up with an idea, and I said, let's do something. I had brilliant partners in them. They said, let's do something.
Can we have names?
So this was Grey Goose vodka. They used to be pouring partners at BAFTAs, Oscars, Cannes, a lot of these places. And we were thinking of, alcohol marketing in any case is very tricky. So, we were thinking of new ideas. And I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we, this is that one place that has the biggest eyeballs. We're all glued and saying, okay, what is Aishwarya going to do now? What is so-and-so going to do? Can we try and create our own thing there? And it was literally just the first time we thought of it. I had a great team that supported me. But I think what nobody knows is that literally it was 4 of us on my terrace rooftop that did it. It was a very large project. We had a lot of outside in partners that we worked with, but the core team was literally just 4 of us. And there we were just, we literally picked our bags and went to Cannes and did everything and came back. And then that became, again, over the years, it became a norm. It became things that people started to do. We literally created a playbook for what people could go out and do at Cannes as Indian brands and Indian celebrities.
Absolutely.
Because before that, it was just a couple of the L'Oreal girls used to go, and it was so sacrosanct, and in the sense like you couldn't get there. But this was also just the beginning of content creation and things outside traditional PR. So those were the boundaries we were pushing. And like I said, I got great partners who believed in what I would bring to the table, and the overall communication piece that we were building. It just came together quite organically.
Yeah. But I think that's where you get satisfaction in your work as well.
Yes.
When the partner is supporting you 50%
100%.
and you know that you have their back and they have
Yes.
your back. It makes the whole association so much warmer and so much nicer,
Absolutely.
So how do you feel now when everyone is...
Things have changed, and as they must. But the thing is, I feel like it's a bit chaotic now. It's a bit of a hodgepodge, and I just think everybody is trying to do everything. I don't know how many people are succeeding, but everyone's trying to do everything, and sometimes it's a mess. And what's happening in the process is some of us who've kind of built things, and it's not me, there's so many other agencies, who kind of built certain ways of working. It's all down the drain. I think it's just whatever floats is happening now. I'm hoping that kind of settles in a little bit, and I feel like maybe some of the non-serious, the riff-raff, some of that will kind of spill out, and we'll be able to go back to having a more fulfilling way of working, which I don't think is happening right now.
A little authenticity also.
There is no authenticity left.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no authenticity left. Everybody has a camera and a phone, and I think everybody thinks they can.
So I remember your campaign back in 2018 for the Cannes, and I remember sitting and being like, wow, this is amazing. The fact that, a Delhi agency, not a Mumbai agency, a Delhi agency has managed to pull it off, and pull it off so beautifully. But now when you open your phones every time there's the Cannes Film Festival, and you just feel that what is this person even doing there? Is this person even invited?
But I want to kind of tell you that as much as we were the first few to go there, etc., I think, look, you can't really gatekeep anything. Yeah. And also, I've had a lot of people who've come to me and said, but listen, is this person invited? Or is this person relevant? And I'm like, listen, today I just feel like anybody who can either buy themselves a ticket in, who can get themselves invited, or who can find whatever story they want to tell. I mean, everyone can get somewhere today. There are people at Met Gala. There are people at Wimbledon now. So I'm like, listen, now this is a ticketed event. Anybody can make it to a ticketed event. And they are finding ways and means of doing it. And I guess more power to them.
Absolutely.
I think the harder part for us as an agency then is, how are we continuing to make a difference? Or how do we still tell our story which kind of stays unique as it can in today's world? So literally that's that. I don't think we can gatekeep anything anymore.
That's true. So diving a little deeper, you also were a part of the leadership team at Elite. At Elite Modeling Agency,
Yes.
which I think at that time was the first of its kind.
Yes, it was the first of its kind. Elite came in with Sushma Puri to India in 2003. I think I joined them in 2004. I can't remember exactly. And I was there with them till the end. But yes, we were very different back then in terms of how talent management was done. Again, a pioneer in how it went on to become what other people would do. So we would scout, and I was the main scout, so I would look for faces. Then we had a grooming agency, so we'd groom them, and then we'd kind of launch them into fashion, films, and everything else. So, and we did that for many years till it kind of closed doors. And in the process, I just think those are lovely days. In the process, I found some very amazing talent, starting from Anushka.
Did you have something to do with her casting? With
We were a group. We used to do this together. There was a team in Bombay who was doing it, but I had actually scouted her and found her and got her on board to
So
Elite.
what's the process? Like, how did you find?
So we used to do a lot of scouting activities. I remember we used to go to Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. There used to be a thing called Elite Model Look where we used to scout people. Then once we scouted them, we'd take them on board and then we'd, assign agents, which were called bookers back then, to them. So it was a very international way of working.
So you're like an Indian rainmaker. Rainmaker for the stars.
The thing is, at that time, we were just doing our work, right? And I keep thinking, my God, what would it be if it was today with all this press and, Insta and all of that? We were quietly finding people, grooming them, getting them those jobs, and just within our group of few girls feel really excited about, wow, did we really just, get a newcomer, a film with Shah Rukh? Or did we really get... Frida Pinto, this amazing movie that went on to win all the awards internationally.
So Slumdog is also
Yes, we had done the casting for that.
And you're being so modest, Pankhuri.
I can't even remember actually. Siddharth Malhotra was someone I found in a college. We were doing a thing in colleges and looking for boys and girls. I had an eye and we would be able to get them in, and then we had a full team that would kind of run after getting them jobs. So
and now Kusha is your...
Yeah, so I did talent for all those years.
Yeah.
And then I was done. It's a very taxing job. It takes a lot out of you personally because you're building human beings.
Is it thankful?
No.
Are they thankful at the end of the day?
No.
Oh.
Listen, I don't think there's anything to kind of hold against anybody. It's just the way it is, right? I think everybody has...
It's very big of you to say that.
It is, you grow older and you stop feeling so bad about it because there is a certain way that the world out there works in terms of entertainment, right? And I think everybody is looking at what's next for them.
So what are your thoughts on influencers as of now?
Again, it has completely changed from where we started. I think our main influencer piece possibly started 2019 maybe. It's a 360 change from there. I think each influencer...
A lot.
In themselves today, each one is an agency.
They are.
Okay, they have learned how to manage their deals. They've learned how to, kind of move forward with their content, where they want it. So each one has now got, a PR person, a manager, or this and that. So I think they are agencies in themselves. I also think, there's a new generation of content creators that have come up. So there is a full Gen Z creator team that is there, which is very different from what the earlier initial creators were. So that's changed. I think the initial creators now have moved into doing their own business building. So you see so many of the...
It's very dynamic. It changes from season to season.
It does.
For us, speaking from a brand standpoint, the fact that we sort of came into being in 2015.
Okay.
At that time, influencers were not there. There was a page on Facebook or Instagram also, I think, came about around the same time.
I think, yeah.
Is when it came up and all of that. And then we've seen the conversations with these guys changing over time. We've, our first association with someone who charges 7 figures now. The last costing I got. I remember working with them on 10,000, 15,000, and now the numbers have gotten a lot bigger. And COVID for us was a changing point because that is when we started tracking conversion.
Oh yes. And do you have a good conversion from influencers?
No. So I think not all of them.
Yeah.
I feel that is where we sort of started dialing down.
Yeah. That's happened with a lot of brands. They went full on and started to use influence, and at some point they started to aggregate and say, okay, listen, is this working, is this not working, who's actually converting for me? Or so it's not just conversion, right? I think with influencers, awareness, it's also brand building, it's multiple things.
And I would take 50% the responsibility because I feel that till the time the homework wasn't happening at our end, we now have to figure out this is the person we want to work with for awareness, this is the person we want to work with for conversion, and so on and so forth.
So see, I think Just like the influencers have grown, I think we as people who use them and brands who work with them have also learned to understand better.
There has to be that mental evolution.
There has to be, and there has been, which is why you know that, okay, listen, I'm going to dress this one and call this one, but this is not going to. So we as an agency are constantly saying, listen, everything we're doing or everything we're doing for PR or communication or influencers is not going to bring you sales. So please be very aligned on that, and if that doesn't work for you, then you should know that then please don't do this, because then it's going to be a very mismatched expectation.
Absolutely, and that sort of expectation setting needs to happen internally with us and of course with the agency.
Yes.
Now tell me, with regards to fashion marketing, considering in the thick of it and marketing at large, where do you think we're at right now?
You know, I think just Indian fashion at this point is having its moment.
It really is.
And everybody's talking about it, or everybody wants to talk about it, and there's just a lot of awareness, right? There's so many platforms that are talking about Indian fashion and the designers, the community, the whole thing. I think a lot really depends on storytelling. I think how you, because now not just fashion but generally it's a crowded space. Right? I don't think we have to talk about so and so is doing great clothes, so it's going to get great sales and good. No, it's really also about how are you engaging with the community around you. How are you doing your storytelling, and how is that storytelling kind of impacting either it's your consumer or anybody who's consuming what you're putting out there. So I think it's really important, and I talk to so many, OG designers who call me in and say, but I've done this for so many years, and and the only thing I kind of tell them is that you have to re-look at how you tell your story, because the medium has changed, right? Earlier you shot a campaign, you had an ad, and you told people this is who I am, and kind of stopped there till you did the next campaign. Here, every 24 hours, there is a change, right? So A, you have to be part of engaging with the community, and B, you have to have a very strong story that you're telling, whatever your story is. And this is where I say, please stay authentic, because you don't have to do what the other person's doing. Definitely
people are
not.
very smart.
And the audience is so smart, they can tell, right? So please don't say, oh, so and so did, so I can do it. Talk about what's authentic to you, what's unique to you, and try to have the right people who can help you tell that story. I think if you do that, you're really home. That are not as straightforward as they used to be, but I think at the heart of it, authentic storytelling is what is going to really decipher one from another.
But marketing has changed, no? Like earlier, back when we were studying marketing, for example, I remember the other day, someone in the office only came up to you that, ma'am, marketing is a product, price.
4 P's.
The 4 P's of marketing. That's done and gone. That's gone.
I think most importantly, I think what we have to learn is everything is dynamic now. And we have to be flexible. And I think anybody who's not flexible and agile is going to have a problem. If you're not going to say, okay, hey, listen, I decided this yesterday, but now, because also world events, so quickly things are changing. You have to be sensitive to what, you can have a campaign aligned today, and this happens as an agency to us so many times. You have a campaign aligned, everything is done, something happens today. Right? And that's going to now take precedence. You have to take those calls to say, okay, is it sensitive enough for me to put this out while the world is going through something else, or can I just wait?
Pause,
because eventually it is about me telling my brand story, but is it important in the scheme of things today? So I think a little bit of that acknowledging also has to happen, and agility has to come. Right? And if that doesn't happen, sometimes you see so many brands get flack. They get a pushback saying, really, so and so is happening, and you're telling me I should buy this. How insensitive. So, which is why marketing has changed, because now there are dynamic platforms that are kind of changing sentiments of people on a daily basis, and what we're consuming is completely dependent on that. It's on
and also there's accessibility, right?
Correct.
Earlier, if I was seeing, say, a designer's thing on wherever, I couldn't just DM them and be like, what the hell are you doing? It's not about like access that that warehouse has to a designer, but even as a person who's just consuming content sitting in their home.
See, the thing is, I feel today we're all publishers, right? As an individual, I'm a publisher. As a brand, you're a publisher. Everybody is a publisher, which then means you're allowing dialogue. You're allowing dialogue with people who are consuming whatever you're putting out there. Hence, the accessibility allows for you to be answerable, right? And when that happens, you have to be extra careful in how you're communicating, right? And I think that's changed. Like back then, if you put an ad out and you left it at that, kisi ko pasand aaya, nahi aaya, it didn't matter. You were not looking at feedback. Here the feedback is coming directly in your inbox. 100%. And you can ignore a lot of it, but at some point you'll say, okay, listen, I've had, this is the way it's going. I've got to sit back and see how this is impacting my business.
So, I mean, I for one, we don't ignore feedback. We take it very
absolutely.
seriously, whether it's a consumer, whether it's a designer, whether it's the team also.
Right.
We have, after every edit, we have a bottleneck session, wherein everyone has to fill in their bottlenecks, and that's also like this thing. And we note down every little thing, something that may have impacted them personally, or on a brand level, or on a learning level, because that is who you become. You learn from your mistakes.
That, and I also feel today all our teammates are actually the biggest brand ambassadors,
100%.
Right? So, when we're going out and doing events, or we're doing, anything that as a team we go out, I see all of these young girls, they're putting stuff on Instagram, and they are representing us, right? Yeah. So it's so important to know that most of us have aligned with what we are saying, how we are saying it, and have a cohesive thought, at least on whatever we're doing professionally, so that it all comes out as one strong voice. Yeah. So I think that's also allowing a lot of democracy, which didn't happen earlier.
Of course, not at all. Yeah. Tell me something, what's a lesson that you had to learn, and what's a lesson that you've been happy about learning?
So, the lesson I have learned is that I think I trust people very easily because I do believe that everyone has a good side to them and whatever. And I think that might need to change a little bit. Yeah. I've been bitten a few times. But the good learning is that despite everything, I think, if you want to keep going, and we've all had COVID and we've all had so many things. I think the idea is that if you are very passionate about what you want to do, which I'm very passionate about my work, that I think we find ways, we go through bottlenecks, we go through some real, hard situations sometimes, either it's with clients or within the team or anything as that we're doing, we have failures, we have, fallouts, all of that. But I think eventually, if you're doing the right thing the right way, and that's my way, I don't know how others do, I truly believe that I have to do it the right way. I have to do right by everybody. And I have to be able to get good sleep knowing that I did a honest job. If that happens, then I think things come back.
Oh my God, I so agree with you. I just had this conversation with the team that we have to do good work.
Good work.
You have to be able to face yourself in the mirror with 100%.
And say, I did my best.
I did my best. And then, of course, you have to leave some of it to the Almighty.
100%.
All of it to the Almighty. Yes. Because regardless of however much you do, however much of your heart and soul and tears and guts that you put, eventually it's His call.
You have to do your work and you have to leave it in the universe, and then you have to believe it'll work. And I think that's a very good thing, because you wake up every day and say, okay, yesterday was terrible, but let's go today and let's do this again. So I think that's what keeps all of us going. I've also learned that it's great to work with younger people. I think they come with so much energy, new ideas, new thoughts. One can have many years of experience, but I think the way everything is changing, I think there's so much to learn from the younger ones. The way they, work the net, the way they're able to also, I think they're so clear in who they want to be, how do they want to come about. I think those are very interesting things, and I'm very open to learning. I just feel like at any point of time, if we're open to learning.
But tell me something, now you spoke about your kids in the earlier part of the conversation. How do they handle you being away from home?
I tell all women that, all women, all mothers, everybody, I tell everyone that if you do something for yourself, you feel happy with yourself, you feel happy with what you've achieved, you bring that energy back home, it's going to be a good space. My kids are now older. My daughter's 20, my son is 17, they're going off to college, but they are the most proud of me being a working mother.
Absolutely.
And they have always supported me. They have so much fun. Now they're older, they come and talk to me about my things. Sometimes I'm taking help from them, saying, listen, I don't get this on social media, can you help me? All of that. But I tell everybody that, I know it's a very hard thing to do when you leave your kids at home and go to work. But if you can find the right ecosystem, which I did with my mom and my family and everybody, then once the kids grow up, they really look up to you in a way that they recognize what you were doing, they recognize what you were building, and there's great appreciation for that.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that we are going to be there for all their moments. There are things that are missed, but I think we all come to a place where we are comfortable with
Of course,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
So tell me now, for example, there's a young woman who's sitting at home and wanting to build a business. She has an idea, and if she were to come to you for advice, what would you tell her?
I think today it's so wonderful that you can do anything from anywhere, right? So everything is available to you in your home, everything is available to you at a click of a finger or whatever. I think if you can give it a try, you must, because I just think that today it allows you to take those calls. Earlier we couldn't do that.
No.
You had to think, if I do it like this. Today you can literally just find everything. If you are aligned enough on how I want to go about it, you may or may not find success, but you would have at least tried. So I think to everybody who's, and if you just look at how many new things people are doing, it's so exciting, right? I mean, earlier people thought cooking food was so blah.
Entertaining.
And today people have made big businesses out of the home kitchens. I love seeing those videos, by the way. They're therapeutic for me.
100%.
So these women who are cooking and they've learned how to put music and do this and do that, and they're running full kitchens out of home.
And they made careers out of it.
Full careers and businesses. My God, there's so many stories out there. And so I think everybody who's had talent in the past but did not fit into a box, didn't know how to monetize it, right? So if you were not this, if you were not a marketing person, if you were not a so-and-so person, you didn't know what to do with yourself. Today, whatever it is that you do, you can find space to kind of go out and do this for yourself. I think the only advice here would be, please, of course, take the plunge, go with it. Find the right people who can help you. And I think in my journey as a woman entrepreneur, as I look back, what I see is women do support women. I've had so many people who've supported me. I pick up the phone on web and say, hey, I need this contact, I need this help. People help. People help. So I think instead of fearing ki kya hoga, just go out there, go out with the right intent, find the right people, the help will come and progress will happen.
Absolutely. So quick rapid fire. PR win you'll never forget.
There's not one particular win, but I think some of the things that we started back then that have become templates now, I'm very proud of those that we've done.
Any example?
Cannes, for instance, I think now Fetch is so identified with Cannes that I would just go with that. Yeah.
Okay. One thing that instantly elevates a brand.
Clarity in where they want to be, because if there's clarity, then everybody involved in that project can actually help you get there, and the elevation's very fast.
Okay. Coffee or chai at a client meeting? I shouldn't.
Always chai. I'm a chai person.
Your current creative crush?
Oh, what does that mean? Is that a person? Is that a
It
thing?
could be anything. It's something that you're just like loving.
I'm seeing the internet with very new eyes now, and I'll tell you, currently I'm trying my hands on AI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Totally.
It's nice. It's fun.
It's so much
yes.
fun. One woman founder you'd love to collaborate with?
I've actually collaborated with so many people. They've been in beauty, fashion, perfumes, everything.
Isha Ambani, maybe? Or
Wow.
Have you done that? That's
We
one
do
feather.
some work with Reliance, but no, never with Isha directly.
Yeah.
But I think she's brilliant in the way she's shaping the narrative of everything lifestyle that she's doing.
One brand you admire for its storytelling?
Actually, currently I'm loving how Karan Turani has done this whole storytelling, and he's actually done this whole Karan Talkies, which I love, and I tell a lot of people. I love that. I love seeing his stuff drop.
Lovely. A book or a podcast that changed the way you think?
I read a lot of mythology by the new mythology, My Gita and all of that. And it really kind of grounds me. And any time that I feel like, oh, I'm losing direction or focus, I kind of go back to that, because I think everything that was earlier is also now. We just have to have the right perspective of seeing it. So literally that.
Lovely. What a fantastic chat, Pankhuri.
Thank you.
It's been
Thank
an
you so
absolute
much.
pleasure. Let's meet up before the next podcast.
Yes.
For sure.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for everything. I'm sure our viewers will extract a lot of knowledge from it.
Thank you so
Thanks
much. Thank you for
Sita.
having me.
Thank you.